I want to acknowledge something really important today. Namely, the emotion grief. Abuse by a narcissist is invisible, and so is the grief caused by it. Your grief is invisible to others, and this is why healing from this abuse is hard. You feel people cannot see your pain, and this makes you disconnected from the rest of the world. If you are a survivor of narcissistic abuse or in an ongoing abusive situation with a narcissist, then let me please acknowledge your pain. Your pain is something I have personally identified with throughout my whole life. I am a 34-year-old woman whose mother was a narcissist. My mother has narcissistic personality disorder. While I may have gotten out of the situation physically, I am still going through this abuse in a way, as people dear to me are still being trauma bonded and abused in this dynamic. No one can see the pain caused by this. I know the grief that comes from this can go unnoticed by others. No one can see or can even begin to understand what the pain from narcissistic abuse is like. It is not within the general understanding of a layman to know what this grief looks like when you are abused by a narcissist. The world is only now starting to read and understand about narcissists, psychopaths, and other disordered personalities. The baseline diagnosis of all of them is that they destroy the people who walk into their lives. I am here to acknowledge your invisible grief. I know how you feel because I am in the same position as you are. I know how you feel when you walk into this world. I know how you look at others when you see them. Like they have access to life, their laughs are genuine, and their happiness has no threat of being taken away. I know you look at others as the fortunate ones. I know when you look at yours you feel like the deck of cards are always falling apart no matter how hard you try. When I used to see other children grow up, I knew they were using all their energy to live, laugh, and cry. Whereas me, on the other end, I was always using all my energy to cope, to survive, and to be safe. I was always on the other end as compared to others. I know how you feel about not being able to participate in life. When you finally get out of the abusive situation, you feel life has passed you by and you are yet to face some failures as you are now traumatized. I know how you feel, like you have lost the most important connection, the connection you have with yourself. I know you miss you the most. You miss your energetic, vivacious, and resourceful personality, which was able to accomplish so much at a point in your life. I know you feel like having both arms, legs, eyes, and everything. Yet you feel like you have the worst handicap of all: the loss of your sense of self. I know how you feel. Like everyone is busy living life. But you somehow got caught in this crossfire where you had nothing but good intentions, and now you have lost your soul in the process. You have paid quite heavily just for being a well-intentioned human. While there are mourning periods for deaths and other losses, but somehow for your loss, there is no timeline whatsoever. Your loss is an everyday loss, your devastation is ongoing, your ruin is ongoing, and yet you are the only one who can see it happen. No one can even physically notice what damage has been done to you or being done to you. I know it can be devastating to go on in this life where people cannot see what is happening to you. You have been through a lot. It is one thing to have a bad day, but it is another thing to have a bad life altogether. A bad life is what leaves a look in your eyes. The one where you cannot wipe the sadness away. When people ask you what the matter is, you just say nothing. I mean, where do you even start with so much sadness and grief? When someone dies, a close family member, people mourn. The whole world knows what this looks like. You grieve, weep, and then with time you keep remembering this loved one as time goes on. What is grieving supposed to look like if your loved ones plot to bring you down every day and sabotage you every day? What is grieving supposed to look like when your own mother asks you why you picked the wrong jeans while you were in her womb? What is mourning supposed to look like when your mother tells you you will not do well in your exams a night before your exams? How is one supposed to cry about this? It is one thing to not feel sorry for yourself, so you keep fighting for yourself to live this life. It is another thing altogether to avoid your emotions altogether, because it is not okay to feel sorry for yourself. If you choose to grieve, how do you carry this with you for the rest of your life? Sadness from having someone evil in your life looks a lot different to sadness from the death of a loving mother. They are two very different types of sadness. Cannot compare and cannot imagine how it feels when you are on the other side. I cannot imagine how it feels to lose a loving mother. How can I, when I never had that in the first place? Similarly, a person with a loving mother can never begin to imagine the sadness that comes from having a cruel mother. So if you are having to deal with a lot of grief from having a narcissist in your life, please do not beat yourself up for feeling this way. Please do not beat yourself up for carrying such a heavy, strong, and bitter emotion in your heart. Please start researching today as to how you can deal with this emotion. Please start understanding that emotions can change with time provided you are ready to deal with them. Please start empathizing with yourself for feeling grief from having experienced this horrendous abuse. Please show yourself compassion for having suffered at the hands of a narcissist. I beg you to make time every day to deal with this emotion and be kind to yourself. I hope I have brought something really important to your attention today. I hope I have pointed you in the right direction and reminded you how important it is for you to acknowledge your grief. No one else is going to do this for you. Only you can do this for yourself. Acknowledging grief and using resources to deal with it is a necessary part of healing from narcissistic abuse. People will never understand what it means to lose your sense of self if it has not happened to them. This process of healing from the abuse of a narcissist can only be done through love, compassion, empathy, listening, being there, feeling and having this relationship with yourself. A relationship of love, respect, boundaries, safety and security that you establish with yourself. Acknowledge your grief. He is your guest. Welcome him. Listen to him. Sit with him. Understand him. Empathize with him. Be compassionate to him. Every time he pays you a visit, be there for him. When you do this, you manage your grief. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for listening.